Also, another thing also just to touch on this is showing you what fiat currency is, and they obviously print more and more and more of it. So your mindset should be, why would I save in dollars that the government can just print? You know? And if we look at the median income in 2000, it was $32,000. Now the median income is 36. So it's gone up a big whooping $4,000 in that 22 years. So we're getting paid in currency that's not actually going up, it's losing value. They print lots of it. So we're going to have to find other ways, either to make more money and also to protect and, I guess, grow our wealth. So I just wanted to touch on that. And that brings me to, I guess, the next thing that we wanted to talk to today is, so we're going to look at, I guess, savings accounts. Because as a teacher, like I said, they tell you, you know, save money. The best way to get ahead or to secure your family is to save money, is put money in the savings account. So we're going to look at, you know, how much money people have saved on average in Australia, how much, I guess, the interest they can get in growing their thing. And then we're also going to look at, I guess, how much it would take to retire and how much you need to have in your so-called superannuation or in your savings account. So we're going to look at the saving account statistics today. So on average, Australians have around $28,000 in savings, and they save around $702 each month. So this is the average. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of extremely wealthy people that are going to be putting in a big chunk. And then majority of people are not going to have anywhere near this. And this is what this article here, which I'm just going to touch on straight away, is there's a more realistic figure. The bank said the figure was likely skewed by larger deposit holders and pointed to more realistic figures of $3,500, where the median is between $500 and $20,000. So I just want you to think of your savings account right now. Do you have $28,000? Are you saving $702 each month? Is that you? If that's not you, then, you know, we're not considered in the medium or the average class. But there's a lot of other things I want to touch on and through here and explain. So
I think the discipline as well is important to touch on. People really lack the discipline to create the habitual behaviors to actually start saving. Number one, I honestly think why would you save in something that's losing value every day and losing purchasing power every day? But it's the discipline that needs work. It's the focus on making sure that we're compounding good habits on a daily basis. And those habits are switching from focusing on saving something that's losing purchasing power and focusing on something that has the ability to appreciate in value, if not stabilize your financial position.
Yeah, completely agree. And I guess another thing, so I want you to think about how much you have in your savings account, and then also think about how much do you earn on average per year. So this talks about, I guess, the average full-time worker earns, and it breaks it up to the states. So the average worker earns around 90,000 per year, and WA it's around 98, different states, blah, blah, blah. But 80,000 if you're in Tasmania. I'm a high school teacher. I can tell you right now, I don't earn anywhere near 98,000. I definitely don't earn 90,000. So for me, again, I'm lower than this. So I want you to think about how much are you making per year, and are you even considered the average, or are you less like me? Because this is, I guess, what they consider average. And, you know, if you're earning that, then you got to start thinking of other ways of how do I make more money, or how do I protect the money that I do have? Because do you have 28,000 saved in your bank account like everyone else? They could consider, but we know majority of people are going to have around 3,000, which they just said before. So
and hypothetically speaking, when you actually look at this, even if you were to take that figure, just scroll up a bit there, Ryan. Yeah. So if you were to take the figure off WA to the left-hand side there, 98,582.
Now because of all the miners.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider is you take 20-odd thousand off that. If you're saving, if that's the average person, then you're having to live off 70. And if you've got a family, if you've got a family and you're, say, doing FIFO work, or you have to spend time away from your family, we know quality time is really important. And our goal is really, overall, is to buy back our time. And doing that with a linear income stream, if you guys don't understand Robert Kiyosaki, I would highly recommend you guys learn about the cash flow quadrant, because this is what we do. We're over on the right side. Over on the left side is where people, they exchange their time for money, and they exhaust all their time for money instead of creating ways to earn while they sleep and to stack assets that have the ability to appreciate in value long term.
Yeah. And another interesting thing about this statistics is how much do Australians need to earn to feel rich. So the average person would need to earn a staggering $329,000 per year. So does anyone earn that at their job, whatever it might be? So again, in order to feel considered rich, you need to be earning that much from your job. And if your job's never going to pay you that, then you need to start looking at other ways to make income, because we're in the 21st century and 2022. There's multiple ways now to create income, and earned income is probably trading your time for earned income is probably, I guess, the worst and slowest way to make money. So this is, and then again, it touches on the different generations. So baby boomers, obviously people are a lot older. So on average, where does it say about the baby boomers? So yeah, baby boomers have in their savings account about 50,000. Baby boomers were born around World War II. So you're telling me since World War II, they've only managed to have around 50,000 saved in their bank account. Something's got to change, because it sounds like a very broken system that if, you're slugging away 50, 60 years and you only got 50,000 in your savings account, that to me, that sounds broken to me. Does that sound broken to you, Cole?
Yeah, totally. Look, I mean, there's two things that come to mind when looking at this. One is the lack of discipline. If you look at baby boomers and then Gen X, Gen Y, it just goes like this. It's sloping straight down. In other words, the generations that are coming through, that are coming into society now, lack the discipline. They're trained to be like consumers. They're trained to consume until there was no dollars in their bank account. Yeah. And the other thing too is the difficulty of living right now. Things are getting more difficult. Things are getting more expensive, right? It's not as easy as it used to be. And this is the reason why these stats they show what they show. They show the facts of what's actually happening right now.
And that's it. And we know that prices are constantly going up. Housing's going up, electricity's going up, even just general food and fuel's going up. So it's getting more expensive to live every single day, but our wages aren't matching it. They're not even getting close to matching it. In America, they'd only gone up $4,000 on average in 22 years. So this is where, again, we need to start thinking of other ways to create income, because we're just relying on one wage. I can't see it ever getting up, and that's why I guess there's less people being able to save, because not only do they lack the discipline, but they can't. And we showed last week in the article that over nearly half of Australians run out of money before their next paycheck. So they don't have enough money to save as it is. And then I guess what we could look at, so this is talks about the average Australian saves, talks about put away. And then let's say we do decide to save, right? Let's say we do decide to save. We put it in one of these high interest savings account. All right, so high interest savings account is like a regular savings account, but better. You earn a higher interest rate that you meet that when you meet a few account conditions.
Supercharge your savings.
Supercharge your savings. So not only is it going to be hard to save, but the little bit that you do save, put it in this amazing account, and we'll give you, the standard variable rate around 0.6%, or the maximum 3.6, 3.8, 4.3. I think 4.3 is the biggest. Yeah, 4.10, 4, 3.8, 3.6. I mean, it sounds exciting. Sign me up. We're like, not only do I want to save in dollars that they're just going to print trillions of it and devalue it constantly, I'm now going to put it in this amazing high interest savings account and get a at max 3.6%.
And also understanding that the bank is using your money to make money. So you might be getting a staggering 0.6% variable rate. They're making hundreds of percent on your money. Oh, they're leveraging your money, like they're just killing it with your money. So it's important to understand that the bank uses your money to make money. They not only charge you to use the services with fees, but they also use your funds in your bank account to double down, triple down, 4x, 10x on the money that's in your bank account. So, you know, that makes it, that should make you think why it takes 3 days to do an international transfer, because they don't want the money to leave that account. They take as long as possible, and really it's just an electronic transfer that should go straight in. But what's actually happening is they're still trading your money. Your money is put to work for them, not for you.
For every dollar you put in, they can lend out 10. So just so you know, in case you were unaware of that. But and let's say you do want to get that maximum rate of big 3.8%, you have to deposit $2,000 every month. But the average we just saw before is only saving around 700 and something. What did it say? Like 720, 702 each month. So find an extra 1,300, then come jump on this, and then we'll give you 3.8%. Oh, sign me up.
It's a good deal. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Oh, these banks.
Good deal.
So good deal. But then not only do they that, but because they print lots of money, because you've put your money in the bank and they've gone and lent out $10 for every $1 you've put in, we have what's called inflation. And now let's look at the inflation rates. So in October alone, new homes were 20.4%. So new homes went up 20.4%. We obviously have a housing crisis at the moment. People can't find rentals. People are trying to, you know, get into the property market, build their houses. Well, in that month alone, it's gone up 20%. So your 3% is actually down, you know, 17% just on the homes. Petrol prices have gone up nearly 12%. Fresh produce has gone up 9.4%. So everything you need to live, fuel, food, and a home, absolutely blow your, you know, your 3% max that you're going to get from the bank out. Is this starting to make sense? Right.
Bottom line is you need to have multiple streams of income, and you need to start buying back your time. This is key because, you know, we live in an information age now, and you can do a lot of things from home, no matter what you choose to do. There are better opportunities, and there are opportunities that maybe have been presented to you before, but the bottom line is taking action. That's the key. That's the key. And that's what I did 2 years ago, is I just chose to take action. I just said, this isn't fair. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's time to create some changes. And, you know, this is what we want to help you guys discover.
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously the old system, work really hard, save all your money. It's not working. It's broken. Because, you know, what are you going to do? Work until you're 70, whenever your retirement you want to be, might not even be 70 by then, because you won't be able to afford it. Because that brings us on to our next step on looking at retirement. So what does it cost to retire? So when you want to retire, what are you going to need to be able to retire? Because, you know, obviously once you stop working at that one income, they don't keep paying you, because that's earned income. You don't make money when you sleep. You don't make money when you work. You have to continually be at work. So let's say you can't work, you get too old, you get injured, and you no longer can work. How much are you going to have to retire? So this is a good one, man. Let's say, for instance, that you do the sums and find your retirement lifestyle will cost you $40,000 a year. Let's say you've worked all your life and you're going, oh, beautiful, I can now retire, I can enjoy it, but I've only got $40,000 a year to live on. And you plan to retire at 65, have a life expectancy of 85, so you retire at 65, 20 years, you'll need around $800,000 to fund your lifestyle. So 40,000, I don't know anyone that could live off 40,000 unless you decide to just do nothing, kick back, you've worked your whole life, you've just gone, oh, I don't want to do a single thing, just want to sit at home, then maybe you might be able to survive a 40,000 if you own your home. But if you're still renting because you couldn't get in the property market, you're going to need more than 40,000. All right.
Yeah.
But even on 40,000, you're going to need 800,000 to fund your lifestyle. So again, sleep is the biggest scam in the world. I won't go into much detail. Well, you'll see in a minute. But so you have 800K in your super. Are you going to be close to having 800K in your super? Are you going to be able to survive a 40,000? Because, you know, who's to say in the next 10, 20, 30 years, things haven't even doubled, tripled, quadrupled again in price. So you might actually need 200,000 a year just to live off what would have been 40,000 then. So let's look at some of the other stats of what they put it down to. Like, all right, so let's say you want to retire with 50,000 a year, 70,000, 90,000, 100,000 a year. All right, so this table shows your goal is to retire with 70,000 a year from the age of 60. You'll need $1.1 million. But if you're happy to wait till 67, then you'll need 931 million or 931,000. So nearly a million. All right. And this table here shows you the ages of when you want to retire. So if say you want to live at 100,000, that's the median wage that we just showed before. Yeah. So let's say everyone aims for 100,000. If you want to retire at 67, I don't know how old you guys are, you work it out now. You're going to need 1.3. This is off today's rates, right? Who knows what the prices are going to be in the next, 20, 30 years. You're going to need $1.3 million. We just showed before on the article, baby boomers had only 50,000 in their savings. So do they have another 900 or no, 1.2 something in super? I hope so. Because baby boomers are at retirement age now. And if you're not anywhere close to this, I know I'm not anywhere close to this, and I'm 32. So we have to start thinking of different ways. We have to start thinking of other avenues. We have to start thinking of how we can not only protect our wealth, but how we can grow it. Is there anything you want to add on to that, Cole?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, the stats don't lie. History leaves clues. And, if you look back to what your parents have done and, what was created for us, we're put into a world really that we just know what we know. And that's the whole reason why we're here, because we want to showcase something that is going to help you guys understand that there's not just one pathway. The schooling system had programmed us to think that there's one pathway, that we have to work until we're 60 or 67 to then retire and be happy. But really, you have the ability to retire at 30 or 40, or when you choose to, when you feel like retirement age is for you. And it's based upon the decisions you make and, the investment choices you make, how you diversify, and how you position yourself in, what would be the greatest wealth transfer in history. So it is important to think about the choices that you're making now, and think about like your children as well. If you have kids, it's important, because think about the life that you're leaving for them. Think about the importance of what is going to be left when you're gone. It's really, really important, guys. So just have that in mind.
Yeah. And you can retire at any age. Once your residual income exceeds what your, weekly or monthly expenses are, you're free. You don't have to worry about anything then.
I think it's not really too much about retiring. And I want to touch on this as well, as like, I don't really want to retire because I love doing this.
Exactly.
It's when you find something you're super passionate about and you find something that you enjoy empowering people with and teaching and educating, then retirement is not really an option. Like, the reason people retire is because they hate their job, and they don't really want to work, but they think that's the only pathway. And as I touched on before, it's not. And from my experience, as you guys know, I was a coach for 10 years and I loved being a coach, and I didn't do it for the money, because you can't make millions of dollars being a coach, trust me. But this is why I chose this pathway, because I knew it could, exponentially give me the ability to build massive wealth while, you know, protecting my financial position, and then, you know, offering something for the children that I plan on having in the future, right? This is the goal. This is the reason, you know, why we help people with this sort of stuff, because it is important, and it is important to understand, get educated, plug in, and make sure that you're planning, you know, for your future.
Yeah, exactly. And again, judging off these status, this is only if you live an extra 20 years after you retire. I mean, if you plan on working your whole life to retire and then start enjoying life, you sure as hell hope it's longer than 20 years. So,
well, that's another something that we can touch on maybe in the Christmas edition. Maybe we can touch on the average lifespan,
yeah,
right, of the average person, because I mean, if you're working until you're 67, I mean, you might only live until you're 80. So you've got 13, correct me if I'm wrong, 13 years
yeah,
to be free. Like, that just, to me, doesn't sink to me. It doesn't make sense.
no,
We're born to be free. We're meant to be free. So it's important to think about that. Don't feel like you're trapped because you're not. You do have other options.
yeah. And I guess that's what brings us on to what these other options are. Cool.
All right, Ryan, you can kick